What's up, friends? Welcome to my channel. I'm Lauren LeDuc, and today's video is about how to start or restart a yoga practice and then actually stick with it. So I'm so excited to talk about this today because so many people have come to me asking how to start a yoga practice. Maybe their doctor recommended that they start yoga, maybe that they've seen it on Instagram, or they have friends who've told them how much yoga has positively impacted their lives. But so many people don't know where to start. There's yoga everywhere these days, and to be honest, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So I'm here to help you out with that today with 10 tips on how to start or restart a practice and then actually stick with it. This is Lulu, by the way. She's one of my 2 kitty cats, and she's my little helper, so you may see her come in and out during the video today. Tip number 1, and this one is probably the most important. Every body is a yoga body. I'll repeat that. Every body is a yoga body. I think many people have this preconceived notion that everyone who does yoga is slim and beautiful and so flexible. And that is absolutely not the case. There are millions and millions of people practicing yoga these days, and they come in all shapes, sizes. They have different stories, different abilities. There are a myriad of people who practice yoga, and thankfully a myriad of different types of yoga as well that suit pretty much anyone who's seeking. So if you're feeling like you're not enough, or that you have to get in a certain kind of shape before you show up to a class, or that everyone will be looking at you or thinking about you or laughing at you, that's just not the case. You, yes, you deserve to feel better, and your body is exactly where it needs to be today. Even you. Cats are natural yogis, by the way, so they don't need to go to classes. They just know. They just know how to yoga, don't you? Yep. Tip number 2, research yoga styles. There are many, many, many different types of yoga. So in my opinion, for each type of person out there, there is a kind of yoga or several types of yoga that will resonate and make it really easy to actually stick to a regular practice. So a few examples are, if you're looking for a softer, quieter practice, you might look into restorative yoga, yoga nidra, or yin yoga. If you're looking for something where you learn your alignment, you might look into Iyengar style or Hatha yoga style. And if you're looking for something a little bit more fast, sometimes with louder music or contemporary music, you might look into power yoga or vinyasa yoga. If you're coming to yoga to heal from trauma, make sure when you're researching classes to look up the words trauma-informed, which will tell you that the teacher is suited to teach people in such a way that won't hopefully re-trigger your trauma and will help you heal. If you're recovering from an injury or have limited mobility for whatever reason, you might look into the words accessible yoga. And those types of classes, they give tons of options from sitting in a chair to using all different kinds of props so that you are able to find your own personal alignment no matter what is going on in your body or no matter what your abilities are. Number 3, find a place that vibes with you, whether it's a gym or a studio, if you are lucky enough to live somewhere that has yoga in person. If not, you might find a YouTube channel or something like that. Feel the magic, either when you step into the door of the studio or when you turn the class on online. There are so many different yoga studios, so many different gyms, and they're all designed in really specific ways to help people be able to kind of drop in and become present. And some of those ways might work with you and some might not. So I definitely recommend doing your research, visiting several places, and then finding that place that's like, okay, yes, this is my tribe. I can definitely sink in here and practice regularly and feel like I fit in. I remember years ago, I visited a friend when I was living in Chicago. And when I walked into her house, she had incense burning and this really beautiful music playing, and there were tapestries everywhere. And I hadn't started a yoga practice at this point, and I was kind of new to alternative lifestyles, I suppose. And I remember this feeling I got when I walked in the door where I just kind of, I felt like my energy was able to settle, and it just felt special. And I keep that feeling in mind when I'm designing my spaces. So if you come to a Karma Tribe yoga space in Kansas City, they're designed specifically to help you drop in and kind of let go of your day so that you can be present and process and just feel good. So again, I recommend that you do your research, visit a few studios or gyms or online classes and see what works for you. Right, Lulu? Yes. Have a kiss? Number 4, find your soulmate teacher. There are many styles of yoga, like I said, and there are thousands of yoga teachers out there as well. And we're all really different. Some people are super chill. Some people like to focus on anatomy. Some are really spiritual. Some are focused on astrology. Some are almost like cheerleaders. There really are many, many different ways to teach and so many different personalities who are leading. And I find that when students connect to a teacher, it makes them more likely to be able to look forward to keep coming back and back and back to their mat and back to the class. So you might find a soulmate teacher, or you might find a bunch of soulmate teachers. Really, that's up to you and what resonates with you. I recommend when you go to a yoga studio website or gym website that you go look at the teacher page and read their bios, and you might kind of feel a little ding or a resonation with certain people, and you might find that those are the people whose classes you really enjoy. There are teachers who specialize in a lot of different things too, so you might go to 2 different vinyasa classes and they're pretty different. Maybe one teacher really loves the more acrobatic aspects of yoga, and one teacher loves the accessibility aspect of yoga. Really, it's going to be different teacher to teacher. So just as important as seeking multiple types of yoga and different studios are, finding your soulmate teacher or teachers. Number 5, and this might actually be the hardest, is show up. So sign up for your class, especially if the studio or gym has advanced sign up, and then actually go. Showing up is pretty much 99% of your yoga practice. Once you show up, you can relax and enjoy the ride. You have somebody guiding you. You can do your best, but none of that's going to happen if you don't actually get to class. So sign up and show up. And showing up is enough. If you do nothing for the rest of class, that's okay. You're there, you're present, you're soaking in the teachings. Number 6, seek accountability and support. There are always going to be so many excuses as to why you can't show up or why you can't show up regularly. So I highly recommend strategizing. So find your childcare if you have kids. Put it on your schedule. Tell your partner or your friends that, hey, I can't do this at this time. I have a date with myself at yoga. Really prioritize this practice, and then let everyone else know in your life who can hold you accountable that you're doing this. And don't be afraid to receive support from other people. You also might receive support in bringing a friend or showing up with a partner. Practicing with people that you love, setting that date and time, putting it on your calendar will help keep you accountable. Also, sometimes yoga studios or yoga spaces have like 30-day challenges or bingo games or different ways to get you involved. And I highly recommend signing up for something like that because I find that having the support from lots of different people and participating in a challenge where there are many, many people who are also aligned with your goals will help you stick with it and form the habit. Number 7, and this kind of goes along with the last tip, put it in your schedule. I know I use Google Calendar to run my life, and I have to put my fitness, my workouts, my yoga practices in there, because if they're not in my calendar, they're probably not going to happen. So I recommend that you put those dates in, and that when you're looking for your agenda for the day, that particular time, that yoga time is non-negotiable. Just like brushing your teeth or eating anything else that you're held accountable for. You're holding yourself accountable. Number 8 is date around. If you go to a class and you don't really like the class or the music or the teacher or the space, don't look at that and think that that's what every yoga class is like. Know that, again, there are many, many different types. So date around, and eventually you'll find what works for you in the moment. And if you've been going to yoga for a while and something's starting to get stale, go try something new. I've been doing lots of aerial yoga lately, where you hang in silks and do really nice inversions and stretchy things. And it has kind of reignited my spark and creativity and fun when it comes to yoga. Number 9, this is kind of a tough one, but sit through discomfort. If you are going to a lot of yoga classes and you're noticing that you don't like any of them because it feels uncomfortable to you, that might be a sign that the yoga is working and that you need to stick with it. So if you're new to sitting with your breath, or noticing your thoughts, or maybe finding stillness every once in a while, or learning even how to breathe, it can feel really, really, really different and uncomfortable at first. And we do yoga because of the different processes of the mind, because the mind is always going. And it helps us still it. But first, we're going to see the mess. So it's kind of like somebody told me once, when you're digging yourself out of a hole, at first you're just going to see a lot of dirt. I definitely see starting yoga like that. Those types of things will pop up too, even if you've practiced for years. But at that point, you'll have built kind of the muscles around it to be able to deal more elegantly, I suppose, with the mess that can kind of pop up. So I'd say don't push so hard that it hurts, but maybe know that it's normal and okay to feel a little bit uncomfortable, and that is completely a part of the process. And ultimately, that's what makes the yoga work. That's what stills your mind. And sometimes on the other side of discomfort is freedom. Number 10 is commit. Just like when you commit to a relationship, committing to a new habit requires devotion. It requires showing up over and over again. It requires being okay with maybe some practices feeling really great and some practices maybe kind of not feeling so great. It's really rolling with the day-to-day and inviting the yoga, inviting the habit back into your life over and over and over again. And it requires choosing you and choosing your health, your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health every single day. And you'll notice the more and more you do it, all of the different beautiful positive effects in your life. And it won't only affect you in a positive way, but everyone that you love and interact with. In fact, you might notice if you're not going to yoga, your partner or somebody might be like, hey, when's the last time you were on your mat? And once your habit has developed, you'll notice it's harder to not show up than it is to show up. Because when you do show up, you feel so much better in your mind, in your body, in your spirit. Right, Lulu? So those are my 10 tips for starting a yoga practice and sticking with it. Please give this video a like. Please subscribe to my channel. Now is the perfect time to thrive.